You know, I wasn't expecting to make a video like this at all, especially about someone who turned out to be crazy as fuck. Why do I always end up meeting the crazy ladies who just want to either kill you or straight up lie to people with zero evidence shown? I'm just a magnet where I attract the crazy girls, and there was one person who I talked about before who I now realize was a narcissistic the entire time, but didn't catch it at all. So before we get into this video, hit that like button. So let me explain something. I made a story time where I mentioned her in it, and I didn't really mention that much, so I thought I might go over all my experiences with my ex, who I will call Chloe. It started after first meeting her. Me and her were just friends at the time and everything seemed good. Then we got together and I thought things were gonna turn out better for me. No, it never did. As I said before, I felt very pressured by her because she really was desperate to get me into her state, especially because of stuff I told her. But I just played it off. Now, as me and Chloe were dating, there was something we talked about that not only surprised me, but also made me question why I didn't notice this first red flag warning. So it was in 2023, and I was playing VR chat with Chloe, and we were just talking, especially in Discord. And after a few hours go by, I got a message from Chloe, and she says, Zendir, this is just a thought, but a good one for us when the time for us to have a future together sparks. But I'd like to get us a test to see if we are vulnerable to the disease you get down there, if you know what I mean. And I was just so confused at what she was talking about, but I just played it off and said, and that disease is... And then she says, the disease people get after having sex. My mom and dad told me that one time that married couples will sometimes want to do that. It's just a love thing they do. And when I read that, I was very uncomfortable and disturbed by it. That was one of the other warning signs I noticed, but just shrugged it off. So I decided to ask her, why are you so eager, obsessive about meeting me in real life so badly? And she says, you make me not only safe, but also give me a purpose to keep living with happiness. And then added, you make me want to be that girl that says, yes, and I do. You make me feel complete. And that right there, I said, but does that include taking risks like what you made me do that almost got me in a lot of trouble and cost me everything? I won't say what it was, but let's just say it was very bad and I regret doing it. No one needs to know what it is because it's no one's business. And so Chloe says, yes, it does mean you take risks. That's why I said I would take the risk and meet you in your state. And then we talked about other shit too, and it was just really becoming a mess for me. Due to me being so blinded by love, I just went with it. But I knew deep down that all of that shit she was saying was false, and she was the one being blinded by love and her past experiences with her ex. And speaking of her ex, she would bring her ex-boyfriend up every fucking time, even when the conversation wasn't even about him. And it was just so annoying, and I wanted to end the relationship there, including when she wanted me to take the risk just to be with her. But because I didn't want to be a heartless prick and not be mean to this girl, I chickened out and let this continue. And if you thought that was the end, no, let me tell you the rest of the other shit she did before we get to what happened in 2024. When I was dating her, on certain days she would have her mood swings, or when she didn't take her medication, that's when I would start to see some signs appearing, but I ignored them. But I was scared at first too. There would be times she was toxic, especially when me and her played Rec Room together. Sometimes when people were bothering us, or are not doing that much, but it was not in a way to just like harass us or anything. Like when people get in my face or anything, or they're doing like the punches and all that, even though it's not that serious and it's just them joking around. She would overreact and assume they are attacking her or me. Or there was this one time she would say some shit to people even though they were being toxic too. I know I can overreact to things, but I won't go that far to say something fucked up as that. And there was this one thing that happened that really gave me a hint that there was something far worse with this girl than what I know. So I mentioned this in that relationship video, but I didn't say what exactly it was that was hurtful, but now I can. So I was with Chris and Chloe as we were hopping from world to world, and Chris was upset because his ex was, let's just say, no longer on this earth, if you know what I mean. And I had to go and get something real quick, and when I came back, I heard Chris tell Chloe about his ex. And you know what Chloe said? She says people who end themselves like that are gonna end up in hell. Like, basically saying people who commit suicide are gonna end up in hell. And when I heard that, I was like, what the actual fuck? And I know Chris had to be pissed as well as I was. Like, who in their right mind would fucking say that to people who end themselves have a chance to go to hell? Especially say that to someone who's going through a hard time. What the fuck is wrong with you? I was ready to end the relationship there and yell at this girl, but because I was too soft and blinded by love, I choose not to and let it slide even though I shouldn't. Now, because of what she said, I started to look back on her behavior and realized that maybe I shouldn't have dated this girl. So I talked to her on VR chat and I just ended the relationship, but in a less angry tone so I didn't hurt her feelings. But honestly, I should have been in my aggressive state because what she said to Chris, me and him never forgotten it. And I thought just being friends was going to make things better. Nope, it didn't. Throughout the year, my experiences with Chloe were the same, to where I started to distance from her completely. And there was this one time when she asked about me hanging out with her or why I haven't. What I said to her was, I'm selective with people I hang out with, especially with my best friend and some other people. And then she thought I meant she wasn't important and she told Chris, bringing him into this for no fucking reason. And then I had to clear things up with what I said. Now, yes, I am selective of people I hang out with and that people I meet that have known me for 7 years or more, like how my best friend has known me for 7 years. And now it's time to mention what happened in this year. So we come into 2024 to where something happened to where it was time to finally shut this friendship down. So this whole thing started back on February the 3rd this year. So yeah, this was very recently. And it was right after I finally got a new partner. I was doing a VC with my GF, and I just decided to check on Chloe because after avoiding her for so long, I thought maybe I should at least just say hi. So I say hi to her, and she replied back to where she mentions that she noticed I was taken, and it seemed like a normal conversation, none of the out of the ordinary, so everything seemed fine. But then, fast forward later, Chloe mentions that she was doing a VC in her server at 4 p.m. and she wanted me to join. And what I said to her was, nah, I'd rather VC with my GF. And I kind of started thinking that maybe I shouldn't have said that because then she says, okay, maybe next time. And then later, she sends me another message saying, by the way, I would like for you to hang out with me on my birthday. I'm not going to a party with my family till March 2nd. Because people are busy on that day even though it's a weekend. So I would like some company. Now, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to because I remember this one time before I ever dated her. I was invited to this world on VR chat, and when I joined, it was full of little fucking fetuses. Like little fucking kids. And I was like, why the fuck is there children here? So after I said maybe, she dodged what I said and mentioned that Pokemon ripoff game Paul Worlds. And I thought that was the end of the conversation. Nope, because then she says, Zendir, you will still or make time to hang out with me once in a while, right? I don't want to be left out, pushed aside, or forgotten now that you're dating someone special, cause that's how my evil ex treated me. When he found a girl, he pushed me aside and started treating me like shit. This is worrying me that this might happen between you and me. I'm happy you found your one true love, but I don't want to relive the past again. And when I read that, I replied to her and say, how is that going to happen? Just because I'm with someone doesn't mean I will treat people like shit. Not once did I ever, while I was in a relationship, did I ever treat my friends like shit. I try to make time for both of my friends and my partner. Yes, it may be stressful for me, especially when it comes to spending time with my best friend at night, but hey, I managed to deal with it. So I continued to talk to Chloe where she mentioned about her ex again. She was happy for me being in a relationship, and then I decided to do a VC in my server with my friends in GF just to where Chloe saw that and asked if she could join. I said yes, and then everything on that day seemed okay. But then the next day comes, that's when it started to go downhill. Whenever I saw Chloe online, I would see her status that she put something depressing, especially change her profile picture to something depressing, but then it later changed to an angry emoji to where I didn't message her at all at first, but then I later decided to check on her and she told me that she was just having one of her moods, to where I started thinking and came up with two possible reasons as to why she was in a bad mood. The first one would that it had something to do with me, or two, it was about something else. And if you guessed two, then you were incorrect. Cause then what happened next, it was time to shut this down completely. So the next day, I was in my server VC with Chris, my GF, and a few other people just talking. Me and my GF were actually annoying Chris to where he would start losing brain cells because it was funny as hell. But then after a few hours go by, I get a text from Chris saying that Chloe just messaged him and said we rarely talk to her. And I was like, the fuck? Because I always talk to her, but not all the time, just when I have enough time to speak. And then he sends me screenshots of the conversation to where it starts with her saying hello to him and that she misses hanging out with us. And the minute Chris tells her that she can join the VC with us, that's when she decided to say, no, that's not what I meant. I feel like everyone has grown quiet and don't talk to me anymore, VC or not. But I don't want them knowing this. I don't want to make them feeling bad or upset. And when I read that, I was like, bro, what is she talking about? Even everyone in the VC were confused too. And when Chris asked her if she tried texting any of us, then she says, no. Like I said, I don't want them knowing. I've been down that road where I expressed how I felt, and they got angry and pushed me away. So this girl is saying that none of us or anyone ever talks to her, but I would end up seeing her in her server VC that she talks to her other friends in there. So how is no one talking to you when you literally mention these other friends that me, Chris, or anyone else have never met except for me? And my GF was getting a bit irritated with this girl, and she was one of the very first ones to notice that this girl was bad news from the beginning after meeting her only one day. My GF can read people and knew that this girl was a narcissistic prick and suggested that me and Chris cut her off completely. And I started thinking about it and remembering her past behavior when I was around her along with Chris and my other friends. I was really hesitant to unadd her because I hate to cut off people, because letting go of people, especially if they have been nice to you for so long, is hard to do. But there will be times you will have to do it if you think it's for the best. So I made the decision, and I think it was time for me to end this fucking friendship for my own safety and mental health. So I decided to text her and ask her if she was alright, and she said that she was fine, which I can already tell that she wasn't. And I kept saying if she was sure, to where she could keep saying yes. And that's when I decided to throw on my serious and intimidation tone. And I said to her, Chloe, I know damn well you are scared of me. Quit denying it. So when I said that, she didn't respond to me for like a few minutes until I heard Chris say, bro, she is texting me. She knows I told you. Bruh, it was very obvious she knew that because we're all in a server VC and she is over here talking to us. Very obvious, of course. So I messaged her again trying to get her to talk to me and not Chris. And then she finally replies, you won't get mad if I tell you, right? And then I said, just tell me what the hell is going on and why are you so afraid of me? And then she finally comes clean and tells me that she felt pushed away, and when I told her that I would hang out with her when I'm hanging out with everyone else, it made her feel like she wasn't worthy anymore. She feared that if she told me that I would get angry. And yeah, I was angry because this girl literally didn't read my messages correctly or just take things too seriously. And that's what I said to her. And then she comes back and said that she has a hard time understanding certain things. Sure, you have a hard time understanding things, alright. This shit she was doing was the next form of guilt tripping by a narcissistic bitch. So I said to her, Chloe, the only time I got angry at you, but held it back, was what you said to Chris about his ex-girlfriend. You think I've forgotten about that? And she was like, I never thought of that. And when I asked her what she meant by that, she was like, what you just said, I thought you hadn't forgotten that, cause I forgot about it. Bruh, when you say something so fucked up, you think it's easy to forget? No, we can't forget that. I said, fuck off. I've been holding back on what I had to say to you for so long because I didn't want to hurt you, but now I realized everything. It all makes sense now. You were the fucking narcissist all this time, and all this shit you made me do nearly cost me everything or lose everything or got me in trouble. Like, who the fuck would say people who commit suicide go to fucking hell to someone who is depressed and going through something? Like, who fucking does that? I've been letting you slide many times, but now I can't because now I understand the truth. After all my experiences with people, I can see now that you've been a problem from the beginning and it's time to stop. Even my GF was upset with you the moment you started this shit. Do me a favor, fuck off and get the fuck out of my life. Goodbye and good riddance. And then I just blocked her, not just on Discord, but Twitter, Instagram, Rec Room, and VRChat. I wasn't able to block her on Roblox because I think she already did that herself. Chris and some of my other friends also did the same, but I did notice that some of my other friends had also had her added, so I may have to talk to them about it. But it didn't end there. The next day, this girl tried to make false accusations of me on her community post on her YouTube channel, but guess what? She didn't show no evidence to prove her case. But then she deleted it the moment my GF commented on her post. I don't think she would be able to see it because her comment may have been put in held for review. So she may have had to look in that, but I don't think she even knows. And then she deleted her posts, especially tried to make an apology, but it was already too late to say sorry. Now, we come back to this day and still haven't heard nothing about this girl, but I know at some point that I will end up hearing some shit about Chloe once again. So that's the story of the narcissistic ex, and the moral of this story is, don't pressure people, don't be like Chloe, and don't guilt trip either. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, follow my Twitter and Instagram, and I also have an email on my channel where you guys can send me fan mail, suggestions, or questions, and I also have a Discord server, so make sure to join that one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.